Welcome back to my channel. My name is David from Daveden Web Dev, and on this channel I like to talk about all things WordPress, especially about accessibility and dynamic data. If you can see me, if you can hear me properly, please let me know in the comments. Don't apologize, I'm still a mess because I was just rushing from work and then I just came to start the live stream immediately. So I think some things may not be I've not even set up the whole thing, but let me know in the comments if you can see me, if you can hear me, and we'll go on from there. So I'll just give it a little bit of time to make sure that everything is in order and we can crack on. So yeah, so today's video is going to be about 4 things. Oh yeah, thank you Jimmy for tuning in. I am still, I don't know, it's still a little bit of a mess, but I think everything should be all good. Let's see, pop out chat so I can see the chat. Okay. Yeah, I think it's all good. Let me zoom my screen a little bit so I can see. Let me zoom this one. Okay, I think that one is zoomed in. And let me look at the other screen. Yeah, I think that one is okay as well. Yeah, so how are everybody doing today? Is the sound okay? Hi Anne, hi my graphic design, Jimmy. Let me know in the comments which custom fields plugin you are using so we know what you are working with. I can see currently most people use ACF followed by Jet Engine. I don't think many people use ACPT and MetaBox for now, but maybe as people tune in, then we can get everything working. So today, there are 4 things I wanted to talk about, but one of them is still a bit not working. I don't know, I didn't set up the example properly, so it's not working yet. But the 4 things I was going to talk about today are, 1, I'm going to be trying out the Jet Engine, no, not Jet Engine, the Bricksforge Proforms, because someone asked if it works with ACPT. So we'll test it out together and see if Bricksforge and ACPT work together in terms of the form, front-end form. Then I was going to talk about a video I saw just yesterday by Equalize Digital, where they were teaching how to create an accessible modal, that is a dialogue modal. And I thought it was interesting, but I was trying to test out something. It wasn't working for me, so we'll see how that one goes. Then the next one we'll talk about is, let me make sure this sound is from the, okay. The next thing we'll talk about is the disclosure element that people use for accordions. Elvis in the Facebook asks if it was accessible, and we're going to just try it out together and see how it interacts with like screen readers and like with people in general. So we'll see how that one works as well. And finally, I don't know if I will touch that fully, but I'm supposed to check out something about Elementor. Somebody asked me a question about how to use some CSS in Elementor. So thanks to a good friend of mine, they set me up with the Elementor page builder because like I said a few weeks back, I no longer have access to Elementor Pro version, but somebody set it up for me to test for today's video, so we'll use that. So yeah, that's that. So now let's quickly jump to the screen. Let me make sure I actually have ACPT. Yes, I have ACPT installed on that site. So we'll go with the first one, which is testing out ACPT with Bricksforge Proforms. Let me switch over. Yeah. Okay, so Anne says she used to use the ACF with when she had it before, but now that Grade has it pre-built, she's now using the Grade version. And I think, yeah, many people now have, like if you have, what's it called? Admin and site enhancements, they also have their own, custom fields. So if you want to use something simple, you can use their custom fields. I think all of them, the only limitation is that they don't have the repeater field, right, or something. But every other field should be there in most of the plugins. So yeah, here we go. Don't know what just happened to my system. Okay, let me see, Metabox. It's asking me to sign in. Okay, close that one. Okay. Don't know what just happened to my chat. It disappeared from my own screen. Hopefully I'll still be able to keep up with the chat. Okay, so yeah, we're here on the screen. Let me try and zoom in a little bit so that I can see and then you all can see as well. And we have ACPT installed. Let me see the version I have installed on this site. And while it loads, I don't know why it's slow. Usually it's faster than this. Okay, so I have ACPT version 2.0.22 and we have Bricksforge version 3.0.3. So we'll be using the Bricksforge Proforms and the ACPT custom fields. So I'll just try out with some custom fields, like maybe something simple like a text field and a text area field, just to make sure that it's working. So let's come to ACPT. I may be using, oh, I don't have it installed on this site because this is not my site. I was trying to use the, what's it called, command UI, but I don't have it installed on this site, so I have to go at it manually. So ACPT, custom post types. What's all this? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, WS forms. Yeah, so let me, okay, we have one already installed. So we have, or let me just create a new one called, the post name will be, let me say demos. Then the singular name demo, plural demos. I think that's how it's spelled in English. Yeah. Okay, so we have those. Then let me go down the icon. Let me choose a random icon, maybe this brush icon. Then yeah, that's all for this one. Next step, additional fields or additional labels. I think those should be okay. Next step, let me make it hierarchical. And I think that is all. Let me save it. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Okay. So we have the demos as the custom post type. Now let me go ahead and create a field group. And I'll call it something like create new meta field group. This is the one thing that I get to with like ACPT, that there's a lot of names. So there's a name for the group, then a name for the meta box, then there's a name. So sometimes initially at the first instance when I tried it, I got a little bit confused. I was like, why is there so many names to use? But I guess I can understand it. So let's go to the name. I'll say maybe the group name should be demos field group or something. Field group. Okay. Or demos fields. Okay. So then I'll add a new, okay, the condition. Where do I want it to work on? The post type should be equal to the demos. Okay. Then the meta boxes. So now I have to create a new meta box, give it a name. So maybe I'll say demos fields again. And I'll add a new field. Okay. So the new field, let me just give a simple one. The label will be test text. And then, yeah, field type to be text. Okay. So that's there. Then let me add another one. Maybe this one will be, what other field do we need? So let's just use the text area field. So test text area, and that will be a text area field. Okay. Let me save it. So we have the custom post type and the field groups. Let me make sure it's working. So we have demos, all demos. Let me create a new one. And I'll say this is maybe demo, or David test 1. Let me go ahead and check the bottom. Okay, so we have our fields all showing up here. The test will say maybe this is Jonathan and this is Joshua, right? Okay, publish. So yeah, we have the fields all set up. Now let's see if Bricksforge Proforms can populate these fields. So let me go ahead and open a new tab, create a new page. Let's see, let's just create a new page. And I'll say this is ACPT frontend form. Let's publish that. And edit it with bricks. Okay, so that's going on. Now let's see what else. Okay, so here we are on the page. I'm not really doing anything fancy, no design, anything. I'm just trying out the form in this case. So let me go ahead and create a new form. I'll search for Pro form. Is it not installed? No, it's not here. What could be the problem? Let's see. Bricksforge elements. Oh yeah, it's not. I didn't set it up. So Proforms, and I like to also activate the dynamic data. That should be under features, right, or extensions. Bricksforge terminal. I like that. The panel and dynamic tags. Yes. For this example, it should be okay. Now we have those. Let me refresh. Let me first save it, then refresh. Okay, let me also know in the comments which form plugin do you normally use, because recently I've been trying out WS Forms a lot, and I also use Bricksforge Proforms. But which one do you normally use? There's Jet Form Builder, there's Shore Forms, WP Forms, and all the rest of the forms. So now let me go ahead and try again. Pro Forms. Did I just break it? Yeah. This should be in there. Okay. So we have our form. Let me go ahead and try to style it. Don't know why this. I'm not used to. I'll be honest. I don't use the what's it called? This one that gives us all of these designs. Advanced Thema. I know it is very good, and I know Jimmy always talks about it, but personally I have not really been into it. So pardon me. So I get a bit confused when I see a lot of the things. Okay, let me zoom out a little so that there's enough space to see everything. So the global field styles, I think I want the labels to be a different color. So colors, what colors do we have here? Black, dark. Okay. And then let me try to increase this font size. Do we have anything? Typography. Oh, why is it only affecting the wrong element? So let me see. Okay. Okay, that works. And I think the border, I want to make everything very visible so everybody can see it. Let me say maybe 2 pixels. Then they'll be all round. What else? Solid, and the color should be colors, same color. Okay, so it's easy, everybody can see it now. Save this. Then let me make sure everything is still okay. What's going on here? Where is my... Here? No, let me close this. I'm just looking at my other screen because some things are open which shouldn't be open. Okay, yes. Everything is still working. So let me come back. Yeah. So yeah, we have, and from our form, let me close this. The form has 3 fields that we need to fill. So I want to be able to add the post title, maybe a post content, and then these meta fields. So let's go and try it out. If you like know something that I'm missing, please let me know in the comments so I don't go and make mistakes. Because this is my first time trying out ACPT with the Bricksforge Pro forms. So I've never actually used them together. So let's say the first one will be the post title. The second one, let me delete this. I don't need that. Allow. The second one will be, let me just duplicate this. That will be maybe the first field. So that will be the test. What I call it? Test text. Test text. Then test text area. Okay. Then one for the post content as well. So another maybe WYSIWYG field. What's it called? It's called rich text. Yes, rich text field. And that is for the post content. Okay, so we have our 4 fields. And then we have our submit button. Yeah. So for the first one, let me go under general and I'll give it an ID of maybe ACPT post title, or just to be safe, I don't want to add anything that has to do with title there. So maybe say ACPT name, then ACPT content, ACPT test text, ACPT test text area. Okay, save them. So we have our fields. Now let me go ahead and do the action. So I'll go to the pro forms, I'll go to the submit actions. Then the action I want to do is to be able to create a new post. So let's say create new post, and maybe we want to also update post meta. I think that's what we do. So update post meta. Okay, so all of those are there. Something is missing, so let me make sure I name them correctly. I didn't give them labels. So the first one is the post title. Second one is the post content. Post content. The third one is the test text. Test text. And the fourth one is the test text area. Save it. Okay, so those ones are set up. So let me go back to my actions and I will choose a new action. Okay, so those ones are there. So for the create post, the post type was called demos. I want the status to be published. Okay, only if the user is logged in. Yes, for security reasons. What else? Okay, that's done. So now the post title, I'll start populating them with the form fields. So post title is the post title. The post content is the post content. Okay. Then how do we do this? Should we use the custom fields or update post meta? Let me try with the update post meta. And I'll choose the source to be ACPT. Add item, the post ID. Since we are updating the post, we need to, no, we're creating a new post. So we use the live underscore post underscore ID. Okay. Then only if logged in, yes. Then the post meta name. What do we think the post meta name should be from ACPT? Let me first fill in the value. The post meta value is from the form. That will be test text. Okay. Then let me save these. And then for the post meta name, now that is where I am a bit confused. Let's go ahead and see what's the name. So I'll come to ACPT. I think the way ACPT saves the name is, let's go to demos. No, let me go to my custom field groups. Under demos, edit it. So I think ACPT does, they save it as metabox name underscore the field name. So I'll copy this name, copy underscore the field name. I'm hoping that's correct. The field name is test text. Okay. Oh, did I write? Okay, I wrote test whatever. So the field name is test. Okay, save. Then for the next custom field, let me just duplicate this because the ID will be the same. The only things that change are these two fields. So the post meta value is the value from the form. So let me check it. Text area. And this one is the same, demos underscore fields. And the last name is text area. Okay. Copy that. Then we'll go ahead and paste it there. Save. Now, if all is well, then the form should be able to submit. So let's go ahead and see. Open the new tab. We have our form. So let's say this is the title is David test. Content is just a placeholder. Then the text is, oh, hey Atif, thanks for joining in. And yeah, please do leave a like so that the YouTube algorithm, we can, make them know that the video actually is helpful. So yeah, we have the test text or test text. I'll say that one is maybe test 1, 2, 3. Another one is text area 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's see if everything works. Submit. Okay, so the form is submitted. Now let me go ahead and check on the back end. And hey Max, thanks for joining in. So yeah, let me see if this form works. So it should be under demos. Yeah, so we have the David test 1. Oh, that's what I call it, right? Oh yeah, I believe so. Or David test, yeah, David test. And we have our post content. But no, we don't have the ACPT field. Oh, so I don't know if anybody knows what's the, because I think, oh, that's going too far. So I think there's a problem with this form. Let me go back to edit the form. Edit with breaks. Because that's what I've been trying to find out with other ones like Metabox and ACF. I think Bricksforge Proforms works best with ACF. With the other custom fields, I've not really been quite successful with most of them. I think ACF is the most compatible one with Bricksforge. I know with Jet Engine, the best one is to just use the Jet Form Builder, or in this case, maybe WS Form. I'll try with WS Form and see if that works with ACPT later. But let's try to figure out what the problem is. So we have the text field is there. I don't know why. Well, let me try it with the custom fields instead of the update post meta. Maybe that might work. Because the update post meta, I put the live ID, I put the name, and I put the value, but it's still not working. And to be sure that that's the value, let me use dynamic shortcodes to just pull in the data. So I'll go to, does he have it installed here? I believe he does. Dynamic shortcodes. Let me go to plugins. Yeah, I like Bricksforge. Bricksforge in general, it's quite powerful. Like he's been bringing so many new things, like the external API that he's coming up with. There's the Proforms, there is the node editor, and so on. So, but I don't know. I don't know why with ACPT. I think ACPT is just a unique. It's just unique that I think they have not really. Or most of the page builders and plugins have not really adopted ACPT as much. But let me see. Do I have dynamic shortcodes here? Oh no, that's weird. I thought I did. Let me go ahead and install it. Let me add a new plugin. Oh no. Let's see. Let's just go to downloads. Okay. Downloads. And then I'm just trying to get installed dynamic shortcodes just to be able to easily see the name of the meta field itself, so that I know that I'm not making a mistake, rather than having to go into the database to see how it is stored. So let me see, plugins, premium plugins, dynamic shortcodes. Let's go ahead and install it. Install. Hey Eddie, thanks for joining in. Yeah, I'm trying to install dynamic shortcodes just to help me understand this. I may have to take it to the other screen to put my license key, but that should not take too long. Okay, so just take these off. Okay, then I'll put it back. Yep. So let's go ahead and try it out now under demo shortcodes. And let me search for David test. And let's see what the name of the field is. So yeah, I was right. The names of the field is the name of the meta box underscore the name of the field itself. The only trouble I've noticed with with ACPT is in the way that they save their fields. So ACPT, yeah, this is test 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3, 4. But when I try to use it, oh no, okay, no, that, I see. Wait, let's go to the other field again and see. Okay, I think I'm testing out the wrong page. It's test 1, that is the right one. So let's see how they save it. So they save it as, yeah, the same thing. Demos underscore dot dash fields underscore test dash text area. So that's the same way they save it. The only thing that I've noticed with ACPT is that they save 3 like fields. So for each field, they will save it as the ID, the type, and the text area as 3 entries into the database. So I think maybe that's what is causing the dynamic shortcode, the other one not to work. Because when I go and test out David test, I can see it was added. So the field was added. Okay, yeah. Okay, and there is a problem. It's supposed to have added it as demos dash fields underscore. Did I make a mistake when I was writing it? Oh yeah, I did. I didn't put a dash. I put a space. So my bad. Dash. So I actually broke the. Okay, so it's supposed to be demos dash fields underscore test. Okay. The other one, demos dash fields underscore test. Okay, so that's it. So maybe that's why it's not working. So let's try again. And this time I'll try another one. So let's say Joshua Bright. This is just a test. Test 24, test 56. Okay, so we have those. Submit. And we save it again. Okay. Let's try again. Let's go back to the backend. So that's the Joshua Bright. So the post is being created. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's it. So it works. So we have the test text, test 24, test 56, and yeah. So it works. So it was my fault. So yeah, that means this shows that it works. So that means I'll do a better test later, but at least this shows that it works with ACPT. So that's the Bricksforge Proforms and ACPT seem to work. Let me just do one more test with maybe a checkbox field or one of those fields. So let's see. So let's say we have a checkbox field. So come back to my ACPT custom fields, and let's say the demo fields, edit it, and let me add another new field, and this time I'll call it test. Oh, we can label with test checkbox. Oh no, let me use something less, because when it comes to all of these checkboxes, I think you start to add arrays and that gets weird. So let me just not use that. Let me use something else, maybe a radio field. That would be easier. And then I'll give the options. So add option. So the first option will be maybe option 1. The second option will be option 2. Okay. Hey, thanks for joining in, Lex. Thanks for joining in, Danielle. Let's go ahead and see if it's working. So let me go ahead and save this. So I'm now going to try using the checkbox field, no, the radio field from ACPT, and see if that works. So let's go. Let me test it out. So pages. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is, rather than creating a new post, I will try to update the post and see if the update is working. So I'm going to the demos, and let me just go to this Joshua Bright again. And this time, let's just go and say maybe this is 25, 57, and the checkbox should be option 2. Save it. Okay, that's saved. So now, rather than creating a new post, let me try and update a post. So I'll come to the Proforms and say we want to update the post. So before we can update the post, we have to get the ID of the post. So I'll use a hidden field, and that should go to the top. So this is the hidden field, which you just get the post ID. So I'll just call this test ID. The value will be maybe a URL parameter. So URL parameter, and after the URL parameter, we want ID. Okay. So all I'm just doing is saying URL underscore parameter. That means I'm going to get the ID from my URL of my. I'll add it manually, and the ID, the key I'm going to use is called ID. So we have that. Then now let me go ahead and update the form actions. So I'll come under actions. Then rather than create new post, it's just going to be update post and update post meta. So update post and update post meta. For the update post, the post ID is going to be the URL parameter. So that is this field. The post title will be the post title. Post content will be post content. What else? Status, we leave it the way it is. And then the update post meta. So now rather than using this live post ID, we can now put in the ID. Since we already know the ID is called the test ID. I think the other things will remain the same. Then the next one, same thing. Function test ID. Okay. And then lastly, we add one for the checkbox. The checkbox was called Let's go ahead and see. Let me just use the dynamic shortcodes to get it easily. So demo shortcodes, let me see. Was it David test? The one for the checkbox, was it this? Oh yeah, we will keep practicing. Test one. No, I think it was the Joshua. Let's see if that's where the, okay, that's the checkbox. So the checkbox is called demos-fields_checkbox. So like I said, the way ACPT stores it is the field group name underscore the metabox name underscore the actual field's name. So I'll copy that. I just don't want to make any mistake. So I'll paste that under meta name, and the ID will be field ID. And I actually forgot to add the actual options. So let's see. Let me add an option. So the options will be, let me go and add a radio field. So radio wrapper. And okay, so the name of the field is, let's see, why is the system hanging? I don't know why. I'll use, let me just make them manually right now. Oh, okay. Okay, so general, this will be the checkbox test. Okay, then the label is just called test checkbox. What else? And the options are, let me say static, which is better. Static. Let's go static. So I don't need to put these options here. Let me delete them. So the options will now be add item value is option 2. So the first one is option 1, label option 1, duplicate it. The other one is option 2 and option 2. Okay. So we have these. So everything should be settled. The only thing left now is to just connect it to the form action. So under the form actions, I would add update post meta, and this last field we need to connect it. So the post meta value at the checkbox, that should be, well, that's a lot. I believe it's okay. Yeah, that should be it. Save it, and we got it. So now let me refresh the page, make sure everything is connected. Go to the pro forms. Under update post, we have the test ID, yes, the name, correct, and the content, yeah. And then under the update post meta, we have the 3 fields: text, text area, and checkbox, and they're all connected to the right field. Okay. Yeah, and I know you are more like you know about the forms a lot, so this is something you do a lot. So now we have these. Now let's go ahead and now test the form again. So let me refresh the page. But yeah, one other action I should do is maybe refresh, reload, so that it doesn't just stay the way it is. So I'll say maybe after update post meta, actions should be, the last one should be reload the page. Save, and see, now I've forgotten something again. I'm actually supposed to actually get since I'm updating a post, so that means I should be able to get the existing fields first. I actually forgot those. So let's start trying to populate all of these fields. So the first one is the post title. Under general, I'll get the post title. The value will be using the Bricksforge fields. Where's Bricksforge? Okay, Bricksforge. The field that we need is the ones with the post meta. But first, we'll get the one for the post title. So that's post title. It says add ID, the post ID after the colon. So when I add the ID after the colon, so colon, and the ID is going to be URL parameter. So URL underscore parameter colon ID. The next one is the content. So the same thing. I'll just search for content. Okay. And put the ID. So colon URL underscore parameter underscore colon ID. The text. So for this one, oh yeah. So how do we actually get it? Okay, post meta, right? Yeah, post meta. Because I know they only support ACF among their so ACF fields. There's no other one. So thankfully we have the post meta. So I'll say post meta, and the post meta name is, for the first field, we have, let's see, what's it called? It's called test text. Let me put that. And then colon, the URL parameter now. So URL underscore parameter colon the ID. Yep. And I think all the other fields are very similar. So I might as well just copy these, go to the text area, paste it in there. And the other one is called, let's see. I think it's called, first one is text. Oh yeah, I'm checking the wrong, I keep checking the wrong one. This will just create problems. Joshua. So the first one, like I said, is the test. So that is this field. Where is the name? Hi, Ruben. Well, yeah, I think that's one thing we should test out. I think once we get the time, we'll test it out. We'll test out Oxygen as soon as I can get my hands on it. So let's see. We're trying to get, what's the name? This is the ID. The actual name is called, okay, test. So like this is what I said about ACPT. It saves everything. So it saves the actual field, then it saves an ID, it saves a key and some other things like that. So it's a bit confusing in the database. Or maybe just me not seeing it well. yeah, exactly. Like I was just surprised when I heard about the Oxygen 6.0, right? Where from nowhere, out of the blues, we just saw Oxygen 6.0 just is beta 1 is going to be released. And I'm like, when did it happen? Where? How? So let me go ahead and make sure I'm getting the names of these fields correctly. I forgot. Whenever I'm live, my keyboard no longer behaves the way it should behave. I can no longer like hold the left and right arrow keys to do quick copy. It doesn't work. I don't know why. So I have to be pressing the buttons multiple times. So we get that. Then the second field is called text area. So text area. Copy. So that's for the text area. This is okay. Demos. Okay. That's there. Paste it. Then the last field, it was called checkbox. Yes, so checkbox. Copy. Let me go to the radio wrapper. The value. Where's the value? Options. Oh, okay. That's another thing. I think there is no like way to just add the options, right? You can't. Yeah, you can't just add the, how do we add the default option for a checkbox, a radio field? This is label, this is context, show label. Oh, there's no direct way. Yeah, there's no way. At least from what I can see. I guess I'll just have to leave that one the way it is. Then let's go ahead and now try it out. Refresh the ID. Let me get the ID of the post that we're going to be filling. So the ID of the post is 68. Okay. So let me add that into the URL parameter. ID equal to 68. Okay, so you get the name. The only thing I didn't get this correctly, the test text. I didn't get it right. What did I miss? Test text. Let me copy that again. And we go to our field. Test text. General. The value. Post meta colon. Oh, I didn't actually put any field there. My bad. So let's just start it again. So first we want to get the post meta. Then inside the post meta, we put colon, put the name of the field, and put colon and put the URL parameter. So URL underscore parameter colon ID. Save it. And yep, that's it. Refresh. What did I get wrong? Bricksforge, demos, field test. So why is it not? Oh, parameter. Okay, this is what happens when you're trying to type it out. Sometimes you just make some mistakes and one field, yeah, so that's it. Test 25. Okay, so the fields are populating. For the checkbox, we'll have to, the radio field, we'll have to find a different way to do it. So let me go ahead and let me just test it out to see if it's working. So I'll change the name from Joshua Bright to Joshua Denedo. This is not a drill. Test, no. Published. Text area. And let's say option 2 or option 1. Let's submit it and see if it updated. So let's look at the fields again. Submit. So Joshua Denedo, okay. This is not a drill. Published text area. Okay, published text area and then the option. So let's see if it actually worked. That's for the Joshua Denedo. Let's go to the pages. Let's see. No, not pages. Demos. And Joshua Denedo, yeah, it worked. This is not a drill. Yep. Published text area, option 1. So yeah, it's working. So this shows that you can update your ACPT fields using just form builder. Take 2. This shows that you can update your ACPT fields using Bricksforge Pro Forms. Hopefully, once the live stream is done and I get some time, I'll be able to publish a more straightforward video, and we'll have to find a way to populate the fields so that they can populate those options and populate the actual value. I think that might be something to check out. Hopefully, Danielle will come up with a solution for us, or maybe Jimmy will do a video before me. We never know. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it for Bricksforge. So that is that. The next thing I would want to test out is the other one, which mainly involves Elementor, sort of, but that is the Avia, the model. And let me go ahead and quickly find the video so that I can show you. You can go ahead and watch it after this video. You can go ahead and watch the way to create an accessible model. Let me see, where is my page. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. And let me just go ahead and try. I'm just trying to search on YouTube on my PC. Let's go equalize digital. Well, let me just switch my screen so we can all see it together. Okay, so here it is. I can now zoom out to a decent level. Yeah. So under equalize digital, we have under videos, they released a new video recently called Accessible Model Tutorial, and they go through everything. Basically, some of the things that Elementor are missing right now, they go through it. So I think hopefully Elementor, the devs can go and watch that video and at least to give them some inspiration, some ideas. But yeah, let me go ahead and copy that and paste it in the chat so you all can check it out after the stream. So here is this for the accessible model. Let me just call it pop-up. Okay, so that is after the stream. You can go ahead and watch that video. It shows how to create an accessible model. And let me see if I can even just, let me not play it so that I don't get copyright, anything to do with copyright. Yeah, so this is exactly how the model is. And what happens compared to the Elementor model. So assume I'm now like zooming in. So I zoom into, let's say 400%, right? But watch what happens. I can still scroll on the actual form itself. Everything still, you see how everything was like, it reflowed. Everything worked out well. There's no breakage. And we're not scrolling the background. The background is fixed, but it's only the model that is scrolling. Whereas with the Elementor one, let me see if I can find it. Let me close all of this now since I don't need them anymore. I can close all of these. Lots of tabs. Okay. Where's Elementor? Okay, this is Elementor. And we'll go ahead and we'll try out with one of the, I don't know if I still have, since I don't have access to, let's see if it works. Okay, so you see their model here. They have the same kind of model, but the moment I zoom in, see, I'm still scrolling the background. The background is the one scrolling. The actual model itself is not like is fixed. So I can't get the front. Only is the background that is scrolling. Whereas if you see the one with the equalized digital, theirs is the model that is scrolling. So even at 400% zoom, it's still working out perfectly. So yeah, that is that for the model. Now let me go. Then you can go ahead and see how they created the model. Oh yeah, take care, Jimmy. Yeah. Oh yeah, thank you for joining in, Jimmy. Thank you for joining in. I really appreciate it. And everybody, if you're into only bricks, then you can jump off now, because right now I'll just be focusing mainly on accessibility and I'll talk a little bit about Elementor, just a little bit. So this is how to create the accessible model. But then I was even testing out something which is even like an improved version, which Elementor is actually trying to like implement, but they didn't implement it fully. And that is, if you see with this one, with the one from Equalize Digital, they are still using divs. So they use a div. This is it, a div with a role equal to dialog. Elementor have now, they are actually using, which I was now testing out, but I didn't finish my code. So the code is not working as I expected. You can see with Elementor's version, let me try to zoom, which is what I like about Elementor. Elementor are trying to always, like, they're trying to keep up with the current solutions. So they use the semantic HTML, if I can find it, expect. So where is it? The early root. This is the root. This is the button, the header. So yeah, this is it. Okay, no, they didn't. Oh, I thought they did. Okay, it's only for their off-canvas widget that they use an actual dialog element. For this one, they use the div with a role equal to dialog. But there's actually something way better that uses less JavaScript, and that is using the actual element called dialog. If you use the actual dialog element, many of the things that you need to add in your div, all those like area model equal to true, and so many other things you need to add, the moment you use a dialog element, all of that goes out the window. Basically, you don't need any of those anymore. So, which is what I'm going to try to attempt to create now. I'm just going to use the example to make it easy for my life. I will try to use the example and we'll see if it works. So this is the explanation that it gave here. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need to make all of them great again. Everything needs to be great again. Please, I totally, completely agree with this. It's not about bringing any of the page builders down. All of them are actually doing, they're doing well. They're all doing a great job. Elementor, Bricks, Divi, they are doing their best. The Breakdance and the rest of them. Sometimes we may see some things that are quite slow and they feel a bit hard, but they are all doing very good job. So I'm going to try to, I don't know if I'll just go and copy and paste, but yeah, if you read the documentation for that's one thing I like about the HTML element, is that a lot of times the problem is that we are having is we don't actually go to read this element. If you go ahead and read the HTML spec and these MDN docs, I always highly, like, I want people to let me just put it in the chat so you can go ahead and read it yourself. So those two documentation, refresh. Those two documentation, if you are able to read them, you will see they explain exactly what you can do, what you should not do, and so on. So with the dialog, let me zoom in a little bit so I can see well. So with the dialog, in fact, soon we will not even need to use JavaScript much for dialogues. We just need to put the right attributes and it will automatically do everything for us. So the moment you put the open attribute, it will automatically open the dialog. When you remove that open attribute, so that all you have to do is just put the open attribute and remove it, and that's it. But that's for later, because I think it has some issues. And then all you have to do is just say closed by, and that will tell the dialog which element is the close button. So you wouldn't even need to do so much JavaScript at some point. But some of the ideas that you need to know here are, number one, the element that you want to be the element that is focused in the dialog, all you have to just do is give it the attribute of autofocus. The moment you do that, you don't need to put all those tab index equal to -1 and all of those things that people do to make the dialog accessible. Now all you have to do is just put autofocus as an attribute on the close button, and it will automatically, once the dialog is opened, it will automatically like focus on that close button. The other things, so I will try, I don't know if they don't have the JavaScript in this one. I think it's only in the MDN docs have the examples. But yes, so this is all you have to do with your JavaScript. So the JavaScript is even something very simple. You don't need to put so much in your JavaScript. All you have to do is just write, you target the element that is the dialog element and do show model. The moment you do show model, it will do everything. It will give the autofocus element focus. It will also add the area model and everything that a dialog is supposed to have. It will add everything on its own. You don't need to start adding all of those attributes again. The only attributes you may want to add is like area labeled by, area described by, the usual things that we use to name the dialog. But most of those other things that we need to add the functionality, we wouldn't need to do them again. Even adding the inert to all of the background elements, it will add that attribute of inert to all the body elements to make them no longer scrollable, and only the dialog will be scrollable. I think that's it, but I've not yet fully tested it out. I didn't have enough time to test it. So the other method is called the show method. That is for non-modal dialogues, but for modal dialogues you use show modal, and that's it. So let me try and even test it out. I'll just let's see. I was trying out one of them, but I didn't get far. So let me just go ahead and delete all of the elements, and we'll see. So save these. Let me use an example from MDN docs and see if it works. So this is the MDN docs. So I'll try and copy the element. I think that will just make it easy for me, because as you can see, this is how easy it is. All you have to do is just write the constant show. So you get the element that is the button that shows the element, the dialog. This is the getting of the dialog element itself, and then the close button. And the only thing you just do is on click, do that dialog.showModal. That's it. On click of the close button, you do dialog.close. And that is as simple as it gets. There's no other fancy JS you need to add. You don't have to start adding event listeners to so many things and all of that. You just do some of these simple things, and ideally it should work. But let's go ahead and try it and see. So I will add a button. Let's see, how did they do this? So they have the button with the class of show dialog. So let me add a button and a div or a block. So a button and a block. So the button, this button will be, just for simplicity's sake, I'll just say show modal. And the block, this will be given a HTML tag of dialog. It wouldn't allow you have to, if you are using Bricks, you have to allow the use of dialog as one of the HTML tags, otherwise it will not work. So I'll save that. So this will be our dialog. Okay, so within the dialog, we should have, let me just put another block for the content. This will be the content, dialog content. And another, so one block for the dialog content, and the other block will be for the close button. So maybe button, this will be the close button. Okay, so we have the elements all set up. Let me just add some random content here. Let's see, maybe a heading, some paragraph text, so basic text, and let me just make sure. Okay, and what else? Maybe here we have a close button, so this should be close. Okay, so we have all of these elements. So the button itself, let me give it 2 attributes. The main attributes we need are, we need one for, in terms of the HTML, all we need is an ID. Okay, no, there's the button. Okay, the button has an ID of show dialog. Let's copy that. Control C. That is for the open button. So this will be the open dialog button. Yeah, and that's, first of all, we need to make sure it is a button tag. The HTML tag should be a button tag. All of these, a role equal to button, all of those things, it adds extra complexities, because then you have to start adding event listeners for the click, for the enter, space bar, and all of that. Whereas if you just use a button tag, all of those event listeners are attached to the click event listener. So the moment you use the click, it should ideally add the ones for the space bar and the enter key, something like that. So that's why we use the right elements for the right role. So we have this button, then we have to give it the attributes. So add attributes, ID, go to show modal or show dialog, save. Then what's the next thing? So for the dialog itself, let me come back to this element. The dialog should have an ID equal to dialog. So I'll give it an ID with dialog. Okay, save that. What else? I've just copied all the content here because I'm too lazy. So all of this content, copy them, and I'll use maybe a code element, code, put that in the dialog content. Okay, so for that code element, let me just drop in that HTML there. Execute code. We don't need any of these things, so just do that, save it. Okay, so we have the form, save. Okay, let's continue. So we have the dialog, then this is the show button, and what else? Okay, then we put the JavaScript. So let me add the JavaScript. We may need to add the DOM content loaded sometimes, so let's do that. So let me add another code element outside of everything. Code element, just to show that this is just showing the possibilities. Hopefully, once I've perfected everything, I will now come up with a better video that shows everything in total. But first, let me go ahead and I'll just add. Let me copy that DOM content loaded so I don't have to write it myself. Let me see where have I ever used it on the page. I've used it somewhere before. Okay. Or I can use the Bricksforge terminal, but let me just use this for now. Okay, and then I'll have to close it. So close the column, and is that it? Okay, let me just copy this. Copy. Okay, that's it. Save it. So I believe we have most of it intact. So we have the JavaScript, we have the HTML, and where is the CSS? There should be some CSS. Oh, there is none. So let's just test it if it's actually working. Let me go ahead and preview it on the front end. No, it shouldn't, because I haven't. There should be. This is the open dialog. Have I done some mistakes? Yeah, I've definitely done a mistake. So this is the open show modal, okay? And in the dialog, we have the close button. So that's the close. Did I add anything? Save it. Something has gone off. That means the IDs are missing. Show modal. The ID is attributes ID. Okay. What have I missed out? Let me check. Inspect. I must have missed something out. Is it not code? Oh yeah, I've not executed the code. Yeah, execute code. And let's see, save. Let's see, should it work now? Hopefully. There should be some CSS somewhere. I don't know what have I missed. Inspect again. Apologies, I seem to have missed something. DOM content loader under the JavaScript. I've said it should execute code, render with wrapper, without wrapper, and the code just says, yeah, the button is show dialog, yeah, the ID of the dialog itself. If I put an ID, yes, an ID of dialog, yeah, and the close button. So this is the close button, it's already in there. Let's see, what have I done wrong? So input type submit ID equals to normal close. I should have used one that is, or let me use the play so that gives me everything. Yeah, okay. So that's easier now. So the CSS, there is no CSS. So it's just my JavaScript that is not running. Show dialog, close. Document OK, selector. Okay, copy these. In the JavaScript. It is there. Save. I don't know why it had to do this to me today. I should have tested it before because I tested out their own. So let me just use their own and show. So this is the close, open, and watch what happens when you inspect it. You'd see within the dialog. So this is the dialog open. Is it opened? Yeah. Then if I close it, so the dialog is closed. Show dialog. Inspect. So okay, they are using the open attribute. So the moment they add that open attribute, it opens the dialog. The moment they remove the open attributes, the dialog closes, and that's how easy it is. Then there is the display none on the dialog. Okay, so by default the dialog has a display none. For our own dialog, okay, yeah, that is okay. I think that's the major problem. That's why it's not working, because by default the block has a display of flex by default. So let me put everything inside of the code rather than using an element. So let's move this. Where's that code? The code out. So that's why it was not working. Delete this, because by default Bricks adds a display to dialogues, whereas to the container, whereas by default the dialog is supposed to have a display none, from what I can see. So let's see. Let me try adding everything here. So copy the HTML. Copy, paste, and let me see if it works. Save it and preview on the front end. Refresh. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So it's working. So the moment I open it, it shows close, open, close. And why are they two? Okay, because I have the second element here, so let me delete that. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, by default, if I refresh the page again, show modal, close modal. So by default, there is no much JavaScript that's going on here. All they did was just add the open tag and close tag, and that's it, the open tag. But when you start adding the other CSS is where everything starts to, see, all they just did is add the open tag, and they remove the open tag from the dialog, and everything works. There was no much things they needed to do, and everything just works out well. So if you are using, I'm going to do a proper test and see how it works, because what happens is it does everything. It does if you go and watch that video, it will tell you to add, like, if you're using the role equal to dialog, you need to start adding things like the area model and other things. Whereas if you use the actual dialog elements, all you need to do is on the button, you add an ID, which will be able to target the button. Then we add the area has pop-up equal to dialog. That is kind of like a newish tag, and all that does is that it tells us that there is going to be a pop-up opening when we click the button, and that pop-up is a dialog pop-up. So that's all you need to do is on the button, you just add an ID and you add the area has pop-up equal to dialog. Then on the dialog element itself, there is not much we need to do. All we just need to do is give the dialog an ID. Then within the dialog, we need to give one of the elements the autofocus attribute, which we can do it in two ways. Either we use a focusable element as the first element in the page, but if you don't want that first element to be the focusable element, maybe we want an important information to be the first thing that is read by the screen reader, then we just use the autofocus attribute on that element, and it will just autofocus on the element that we are of our choosing. Then what else? So that's all. Once we do that, the things like the inert will be added to the body, the area model will be added into the dialogue elements automatically, and so many other things. So hopefully the video, once I do the proper test, I should bring out the video in like a couple of days, maybe 2 days, and when I've gone through all of the tests, and you see how it handles everything. So all of these, because when I was checking out Elementor's off canvas widget, I noticed they were adding inert attribute, but they were adding it to the dialogue itself. The inert attribute is supposed to be added to every element except the dialogue, because what they're trying to say is that we don't want the screen reader or anybody to be able to access any element outside of the dialogue. So you add the inert to every focusable element outside of the dialogue, then only the dialogue element will be focusable, like everything inside the dialogue. But Elementor did it the opposite way, but I think that was just maybe because they misread the because sometimes when you read some of this the documentation, some things can get confusing, and you implement it the wrong way, basically. But yeah, so once I do that, we'll have a video about it. The third thing I'm just going to look at today is the one that is the using of the disclosure element, that is the details and summary element, to be able to like create an accordion, because I know a lot of people have said that is not an accessible way to create an accordion. So I'm just going to test it out now using maybe I just use CodePen. Maybe that will be easier. So just let me see. Oh no, I don't have CodePen signed into this browser. So I'm going to use Bricks again, and I'll use the code element. So let's switch back. And oh no, I remember I do have it saved somewhere. Yes, I remember I used something in one of my videos, so I'm just going to use this one to test on the front end. So open a new page. I can close all of the rest. Okay, so this, okay, the accordion example, was that the one I used already? Okay, let's just go there. Exit with Elementor. And I'll try to do everything. I'm going to try it with a screen reader, and we'll try it out. Yes. So I think I already did that before. Yeah, so that is it. Using the details and summary tag. And yeah, if you have not seen the video, I'll leave a link to the video in the description somewhere, where I already explained how everything works with the details and summary tag. But the question that was asked was that if you look at it, if we inspect the page right now, you would notice within the summary element, I added a h3 element, and the argument we used to have before is that this h3 is not exposed to screen readers, but currently, when I now tested it recently, because I think I'm feeling that that's maybe an old news, because initially when the details on summary element was introduced, that was the problem. But recently, when I was researching the HTML specs, it says that we are allowed to put a heading element inside of the summary. So when you put the H3 in the summary, it works. So if you go to the accessibility tree, you see that it shows it. This is the disclosure, and it has a heading inside. So it recognizes the heading. If you go to the heading itself, and let me go to the accessibility, you'd see it has role equal to heading, level equal to 3. So that means it is being recognized by screen readers when you use a screen reader, which I will test now. So let me go ahead and test it. I'll open NVDA. Please let me know in the comments if you can hear the screen reader. It's going to turn on now. So
social stream dashboard, accordion example conscious business coaching, Google Chrome window, accordion example conscious business coaching, Google Chrome
okay.
Testing
so,
accordion example
can we all hear it?
business coaching document, banner landmark. Primary navigation landmark list with 6 main landmark testing accordions heading level 1.
So let me go to the other one too.
1 element a nestable head. 2 Chrome detail / summary heading level 2.
So
What's required heading level 2. 2 Chrome detail / summary heading level 2.
So now watch what happens if I press the number 3 key. I'm using NVDA. I've set up the headings within these elements as H3s. So if I press the number 3,
item number 1 heading level 3 button expanded.
So you see it announces everything. So it announces that there's item number 1. It tells me heading level 3, and it tells me button expanded. And I literally did not add any like JavaScript to this. Everything that was done was in CSS. But because I'm using the details and summary tag, it announces everything properly. So if I press the tab key,
First item link.
the focus is working properly.
Item number 2 heading level 3 button collapsed.
Item number 2 heading level 3 button collapsed. So it announces everything. It announced the area expanded property, even though there is no area. Let me go ahead and
XF.
exit it.
Q. Exit NV.
So I've exited NVDA. Look at the HTML structure. All that is there is details, summary, and the H3 inside, and then there is the content. But it announced that there is area expanded. It announced that there is a heading. It announced everything. So basically, before I used to say no, the details and summary tag is not for accordions, but in 2025, I think they've made it to be for accordions. So we can use the details and summary tags for accordions. If you want to connect all of your accordions together so that watch what happens. Like I said, there is no JavaScript here, but see what happens if I open this element. The other one closes automatically. Open the other one, the third one, every other thing closes automatically. And the way everything is connected, like still there is no JavaScript. It's all CSS. And the CSS, all the CSS I'm doing is not, it has nothing to do with the opening and closing. The only CSS I added here is just for the styling of the elements. The thing that is connecting all of them together is this tag called the name tag. The moment you add the same name to all 3 dialog details elements, it automatically tells the browser that the 3 of them are one element. So they are now one accordion element. It's similar to how you have with your checkboxes for your form elements, your checkboxes, your radio buttons. The moment you give all the radio buttons the same name, the browser takes them as a single element. So that's the same thing here. So before I used to be skeptical and say no, don't use the details and summary tag, but now I've changed my mind. I don't think it's wrong anymore. I think it's right to use the details and summary tags for your accordions, at least starting from maybe late 2025, when most of the attributes become like native, because now it is supported by NVDA. I believe I can't remember if I tested it with, I believe even the updated versions of like VoiceOver, NVDA, and all of them, they all support this now, but it's only the older versions that may not support the HTML attributes from all of these. So yeah, that is basically it. Those are the things that I want to just show in today's video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments so that I can answer those questions. And that will be that. So I'll just give it a minute. If anybody has any questions, any contributions, let me know in the comments and we can jump off from there. But before we go, so just expect by next week there will be a video talking about the dialogue element, and I'll leave a link to the video talking about the details and summary tag in the description, so you can go ahead and watch that video. And yeah, there'll also be a video about the Bricksforge Pro Forms and ACPT. So thank you all for joining in today. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.